Nelluri. I'm currently working with the state of California as an accessibility coordinator, accessibility subject matter expert. I have over 20 plus years of experience as a quality assurance and accessibility usability tester. For the past 13 years, I've been working with state of California as an accessibility advisor, accessibility subject matter expert, and I provided extensive level of training to various state resources and accessibility implementation, like and the more details about WCAG guidelines, and then making the digital content accessible for on both web as well as documents. So now we are going to discuss about key things like alt text and complex image description. What is alt text? What is complex image description? So, well, alt text and complex image description, in a sense, image descriptions are text-based descriptions of visual details in an image written primarily for people who are visually impaired, such as blind or low vision people, in a way that accessibility users. So, what is alt text? Alt text or alternate text is a short descriptive text used to represent images of any kind of visual elements on a web page, conveying a vital piece of information to the user. Generally, during the process of making digital content accessible, alt text is added to images or visual, user interface elements. It basically ensures people with challenges or vision impairments can access the content as same as people without disabilities. I mean, all text descriptions are integrated into a web page or HTML code and can be captured by screen reading tools and announced to the user. So I have worked with VoiceOver. I have worked with native apps like I worked with NVDA. I have worked with JAWS. These are the screen reading tools. And when it comes to native apps, on Android, I've been working with TalkBack, and on iOS, I've been working with VoiceOver. So screen reading tools captures the content within the HTML tags. So when we navigate focus onto any of the UI element, screen reader captures what was there, what is supposed to be displayed, what is displaying over there on the screen, and what is supposed to be announced to the user who is kind of having, vision impairments, or kind of people who are blind. So when focus navigated onto the image, screen reader capture and announces the alt text associated with the image and reads out to the user. So this is all about alt text. And I will give you a brief description about how to make alt text more effective and more precise. So keep it short. Alt text, the key principles of creating an alt text is keep it too short. Usually one or two sentences are somewhere like it should be under 125 characters, something like that. Let's not overthink on it and make it too complex, which makes an accessible user, people with low vision or vision impairments, feel confused about it. Consider key elements why you want this image to be read out to the user instead of describing every little detail. Alt text should not just describe the image, but provide the context on how the image relates to the paged content. So when we are announcing about any specific image, when we navigate focus onto any specific image that is conveying some meaning to the user, so if we just announce the whatever was displaying on the screen, on the image, that doesn't make any sense to the user. So we always need to ensure that this image is correlate to the context of the screen. What was being displayed to the user. And alt text need not say like, image or picture, image of or picture of, but do say it is a logo. If it is a logo or if it is an illustration or painting or cartoon, so we need to make sure like, okay, illustration of, logo of Wells Fargo or logo of any kind, Diabolo Valley College, something like that. So we need to, briefly describe about what is being displayed and what was the vital piece of information that we are conveying to the user. And the other thing we need to consider here is don't duplicate. Don't duplicate the text that adjacent in the document or website. So anyway, when we navigate focus onto onto any user interactive element, screen reader will always, anyway announce the content. So if we duplicate this text or content that is adjacent to the document, adjacent to the image, there is no point of announcing the content multiple times. User can understand it, and an accessibility user is highly skilled and he can easily understand like what is being displayed on the screen. And always end the alt text with a period. So ending the alt text with a period, user will understand like, okay, the alt text description has ended here. So he will have a better idea like what was being was shown on the picture. Now I'm going to give you an example of alt text. So here, if you see the image, the HTML tag is being captured it as, the role of the images has displayed here image and the alt text group of young college students walking with smile. So this is just a simple brief description of an alt text. So well, let's say when you are representing, representing an alt text of an uh, kind of any college, and the people are, walking jolly, walking with smile to their classrooms. So this is how we describe like a group of young college students walking with smile. So this is how an alt text should be. And now I am going to discuss about complex image description. So So when compared to basic alt text, complex image description goes beyond the basic alt text. So there are situations like when the composition of an image is important and needs to be provided in long description, like a historical painting or historical an event that has occurred sometimes way back in I mean BC. So the current uh, users, the current generation may not know what has happened in the past. So we need to, simply displaying on the picture may not make any sense to the user. Okay, what was happened? He may be able to think, he may not be able to think about like what was being displayed on the screen and what was the relevance of that image when compared to the historical event. So, so complex images can be difficult to understand with simple alt text. Even let's say even if we present some alt text to that complex image, alt text may, for many people, especially those with low vision and learning disabilities, they may not be able to understand the complex image with simple alt text. So this is where complex image description comes into picture. So a complex image description means a long, more detailed text alternative for images that contain vital piece of information like graphs, charts, maps, or historical images that cannot be described in a short alternative text. So when using complex images, we need to describe all of the relevant information to the users who are visually impaired. So when, let's say, Gladiator, take this movie of Gladiator. So when we portray one picture, the event, the historical event has happened way back in centuries. But now we may not be able to understand. When we simply show the picture on the screen, we may not be able to understand like what has happened, what is this picture is all about, why this picture has been displayed in the screen, what is the relevance of this picture to the historical event. So we have to briefly describe about the entire thing. It is kind of, we are in a 3D movie. When we are watching a 3D movie, we feel like we are part of the historical, we feel like we're part of the event, the part of the movie. Same like that, when we present complex image description, we should use, and a user should be able to feel that they are part of the historical event. They are part of the historical, uh, thing that has happened in the past. So this is how an, complex image description should be displayed to the user. For example, an image contains significant visual detail. If it communicates information that's crucial for understanding. It could be anything. It could be an art, it could be an artwork, a chart, or a map, or diagram. So user should be able to understand by, visualizing the image that is that is being, announced as a complex image description. So this is all about complex image description. Now I will give you a few tips how to create a complex image description. Always start with general overview, like what is going to be announced as part of complex image description, and note the key visual elements. Why this complex image description is being added to this image, and make sure like general overview, like the simple overview, so user can start feeling the difference. User can start feeling the event, and include cultural or historical context. If the image is relevant to any historical event or cultural event, always display. Always announce the. Always make sure like we include the cultural historical relevance of that image, and always avoid assumptions or any identity or emotion. So do not put anything in the complex image description which is an assumption. So do not assume anything, and just put that down in the alt text. Complex image description, and structure longer descriptions logically. So if we add the complex image description in a sequential logic, like okay, so this is where the overview has started, and this is the no key visual elements are here, something like that. We have to structure the long description logically even before we put that complex image description to the image. Complex description to the image, and match description to audience. Who are our target audience? Obviously, of course, accessibility users. So accessibility, we have to put complex image description in a way that an accessible user can understand the complex image description. So if we follow these steps, these are the key elements to be considered as complex image description for an object, for an image. Now I'm going to give you, an example of how to create complex image description. So if you consider this image, so this image is a kind of, a brushwork that is illustrating a girl in a pink apron dress and boots sitting in a chair on a wooden porch. So this image is a historical, kind of an art, and we have to describe this art. Simply putting like, okay, a girl sitting in the porch, that may not be able to, user may not feel what was the illustration, what was the brush, how attractive the brushwork has been designed. So these all kind of, should be able to make sure user is feeling that he is part of that image. User is feeling that he is part of the historical event that has happened. So this, like this, user should be able to understand the illustration. User should be able to understand what has happened. What was the complex image is all about. Finally, finally, I am going to describe about why alt text and description matters in art and art history. So obviously accessibility. So access, all text and descriptions will allow blind or visually impaired people to access and appreciate the visual art. And the context. Detailed descriptions convey meaning, symbolism, and historical relevance. So the context should always be part of the alt text or complex image description. And equity in education. So there will be people who has who are facing like visual impairment or blind. So art history is a visual discipline. So descriptions ensure all student can learn regardless of ability. So it is like, people with disabilities accessing the content as same as people with abilities. And digital preservation. So when art is shared online, alt text helps and retain imperative and narrative value of the image, or any visual kind of visual representing UI, user interface element. So this is all about alt text and complex image description. And I hope this makes sense. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.